So in relation to a personhood amendment at the Supreme Court level, I think we've kind of given that it will be up there at some point. Would you say, in relation to states' rights, would you say that could be their wiggle room instead of deciding whether all humans are persons, them just conceding to a state, saying, well, the state has the right to do this on their own, and we're going to confer to that state? Or how do you see that playing out?
It may be wiggle room for about a week, but I think we would have state after state, just a wave of states passing this. And the question would come up. And we would have these side issues, trickle up also with fertility, with science, with research. We'd have all of these issues just bubbling up. Everything would, basically turn the heat up on everything. And they would not be able to wiggle out of this.
And I'd move to the state that passed it. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you'd move to the state that's trying to pass it next, and we'd pass it there. That's what I'd do.
Or we could just pass it. Everybody represents about 7-8 states here. We just pass it in your state there.
Yeah.
So,
I-
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I really
2
think
minutes
that this issue has been relegated to the pro-life closet and shelved there. There are so many people I've heard who stopped voting pro-life because they think it's a non-issue anymore. I mean, because after all, nothing's changed. And I think that personhood, like nothing else, yanks this out of the closet, puts it in the living rooms, out in the public forum for serious debate. And I think that when this issue gets debated, we win. When it comes to the rape issue, I have to address this because I was active in South Dakota as well. I went to the South Dakota Right to Life conference there, and there were 3 of us who spoke who were all conceived in rape or incest. And they were going to film 2 of us for an ad. And by the way, AFA is going to film me for an ad on Tuesday for Personhood. But they were going to film us for an ad. There was a guy there from South Dakota who owned Prairie Coach Lines, and he had founded Angel Bus. I mean, unbelievable ministry that's had effects nationwide. Real hero, and he was conceived in rape too. And so they're going to have our 2 voices, and they're going to address the rape issue. Well, then they had this ad agency who came up with, again, in their infinite wisdom, the idea that, no, instead we're going to go with the message that life begins at conception. And so they decided their whole campaign, the Vote Yes for Life campaign, would just keep hammering on the life begins at conception message. So they were going to try to convince pro-choice people to support a 100% pro-life measure, which is terrible strategy. I mean, wise political strategy is you appeal to the middle. With this issue, the middle are pro-life people who make the exception. And then you've got 70 to 80% of the vote right there. And they didn't address the issue. The opposition addressed the issue. Their yard signs were black and yellow signs that said rape with a coat hanger over it. They addressed the issue. You have to address this issue. And I have found, since I've been in this battle for years and years, it is so easy to change their minds. It is really easy to change the mind of a pro-life person who makes that exception. They have just never really thought about it. They have never put a face to this issue. I encourage you, on my website, I have dozens of stories of other people who were conceived in rape and incest. I have stories of women who became pregnant by rape. We just have to get these stories out there. And whatever state you're in, you have to address this issue. But don't be afraid to. People will change their minds.
All right, well, thank you guys for this. I hope you found this was educational.